Hey everybody, Tyler here. Going to talk today about the 5 box jump variations I used in my little jump transformation that I had last year. I'm about 5'9 and a quarter. I'm 20, now I'm 29, I was 28. Never could really dunk before. Last year I ended up being able to do toss-up dunks, one hand, two hand. I dunked one off the dribble, so you can see the video up here. But these are the 5 variations of box jumps that I think are most practical. There's no fluff, they're straight to the point. They're easy to do. All you need is a box and a bench or 2 boxes. Works great. The key with them is it doesn't really matter the size of the box. It's more so the effort of the individual performing the box jump. That being said, if you have a higher box or stackable plyo boxes, that can help with your intent just because you have to jump high. But for me, myself, I have a low ceiling basement. I have a box that goes 24 inches. I have another box that goes 20 inches, so that's the max boxes I can do. So I really do have to depend on me trying to put my head through the ceiling more or less, which I have nicked a few times. But that intent is what's most important. And lastly, just practicing the skill of jumping repetitively and within moderation without overdoing it, which leads to some overuse injuries. So check out the video, make sure you subscribe, like, share it with a friend, and make it a great week. All right, so exercise number 1 is just your standard box jump. So I see people screw this up sometimes, whether they're using too high of a box and they're landing that deep squat, or they're using too low of a box, or they're just simply trying to jump quick onto the box and not worry about how high they can get. I mean, I can do this, but I didn't really have to put much effort in it, right? So I think it's really an effort thing when it comes to these box jumps. We're going feet about square to the box, this far away. You want to make sure you get your arms in there, right? Because jumping has a lot to do with being able to sink lower body, upper body, and get that swing. So if we look at it here, and you want to explode up, kind of float to the box. So that's the box jumps. Super simple. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate this. Pick a box height, usually around what your vertical is, and then jump as high as you can, regardless of what the box size is. For exercise number 2, we're doing a depth jump. So these are great if you're just starting out or just reintroducing plyometrics. This can be a great way to practice that landing. Now, of course, if you're in competition, you're a basketball player, football, volleyball player, whatever it may be, those landings aren't always going to be ideal. Watch any sport competition. The amount of times people are landing in these awkward positions or not technical good landings is way more common than you landing, feet squared, ready to go. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't still practice the skill. And I always like to do this one with a little rebound at the end. Because again, in sport, you're really just going to jump one max effort time and then just stay on the ground, right? So you're going to have to run, you're going to have to move. So practicing that second effort is also important. So check this out, up on the box. Again, you want to think of from your vert height or how high you're going to jump typically is where you're going to want to go. I'm a little limited. You see, if I go any higher, I'll be pretty close to my ceiling. So it's as simple as it sounds. You're going to step off. Again, try to sink the arms on the land and then pop right back up. Get that arm sink, and then repeat again for the desired number of reps. Now look at seated box jumps. So I like this one because it takes away that momentum you can gain by that lowering, that eccentric phase to start the jump. Now you're just focusing on exploding, applying force into the ground, propelling yourself in the air. Again, I want to think of floating onto the box. So it doesn't matter how high it's going to be, you still want to jump with max effort. We're still getting a little arm swing in there, and we're flying up to the box. So as simple as it sounds, sometimes I like to go with a little rocker and go. Sometimes I just go from standstill. Play with it. See which one you like best. There's no better or worse. Just really just focus on exploding up. So I'm going to do it with a rock. Watch the arms back up. Float to the box. Control that landing. And then you would repeat. Speaking of repeat jumps, like I said in the depth jumps, rarely a sport played with just a single explosive movement, right? It's always followed up with another one unless there's a stoppage of play. So that's why I like these box repeater jumps to work on that second jump. You watch a guy like Zion Williamson, as soon as he hits the floor, that guy can explode right back up. If he misses the layup, chances are he's probably going to get his own miss and put back. So that skill is so important. This is probably the more sport-specific one, this one and the next, that will transfer onto the court or the field of play. So simple as it is, you pick your box height again, probably a little bit lower than your vert height, just so you can repeated effort is what we're after here. So it's going to be up, down, up, down, up, down, explode as quick as possible, spending as little time on the ground as possible. Again, trying to sync that arm movement with the jump. And lastly, our fifth one, probably my favorite, especially for somebody that wants to learn how to dunk. This one's great. I had a short about this, I think it was last week. You can watch it, I'll link it up here. But this one is great for footwork, great for explosion. You can get a higher box with this. I'm just gonna stay here for the purpose of this video. But since you're moving now, you're gonna be able to jump a little higher, right? So you can mix up the approaches. Again, watch that video from last week. And it's as simple as it sounds. So you're gonna approach the box. So usually, whether you're a right-left jumper or a right-left jumper, whatever it may be, you wanna use that approach more often than use the other one just to practice. If the skill specific is just to dunk, that's what you want to do. If you just want to be overall more athletic, use a wide range of approaches. So as simple as it sounds, I'm just going to go from straight on. I'm going to take a one or two step here, explode up the box, float to the box, and land. The reason why this is nice with the box is because you're jumping higher, so it's absorbing some of that force from that landing. So again, watch here, step, arm swing, explode onto the box, and then you would switch your approach and go from there. So those are my 5 favorite box jump exercises that I used in my transformation, go from not being able to dunk at 5'9" ¼ to being able to eventually do it two-hand and one off the dribble. So again, hope you guys like that. Subscribe, share it with a friend, and I'll see you around.